YouTube! Daddy's home, baby. We're back at it again with another YouTube video. I know it's been a while since I've been posting. Just recently had my kid. Um, God, guys, like, honestly, they're a blessing, but they are indeed a lot of work. So, definitely been prioritizing that life-wise, but, happy to take some time out of my day now to do a quick YouTube video for you guys. Really exciting. Like the kids out the house, the wife's out the house, the baby's finally old enough to like go for a grocery run with mom. Um, so yeah, this is a milestone, guys. Like this is the first time in maybe 3 months since my kid has been born that I've had like any time to myself. So yeah, been still doing a little bit of locals here and there, probably going like once every Wednesday at my locals. No big events, no OTS championships or regionals. No patience for that, unfortunately. I get really like, worried throughout the day about my kid and my family. So yeah, every Wednesday I just go do like 3 to 4 rounds of locals and call it a wrap. I don't really play test anymore as much as I used to when it comes to the formats, but I have general awareness of like what's going on and what cards do, and I do read cards. Thankfully, I am one of those players that reads cards. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's the intro. What a way to come back to YouTube by making a video with my my true heart here when it comes to decks, heroes. This is gonna be a nice video just because I have blinged out my hero deck in celebration. Did treat myself to some high-end goods within this list. And then also, yeah, I went top 4, guys, in the Justice Hunters format. It's a really, really fun format, guys. I've been playing Malice. I've been playing some Draco Tail, but decided to take out heroes to locals the other day. So my matchups were round 1, Yummy, lost dice, 2-0'd Yummy with this exact list. Game 2, I went against K9 Vanquish Soul. I did win the dice. We went 2-1. Really fun game. Very, very fun game. A lot of really good interactions that I'll talk about. That's built right into the hero engine that counters the K9 engine, the Vanquish Soul engine, the Yummy engine, but also the Dracotail engine. Like our deck actually, ideally, if I'm going to be honest, our engine itself actually has really good counters to those 3 prime meta decks. If you were to talk to me last format, Malice and Mitsurugi definitely are very overwhelming with this deck just because they can play under law. They can play under all our different interruptions and floodgates. But the new decks actually, in my opinion, are more fair. So I truly believe this list actually has some legs to it when it comes to heroes. So yeah, I beat Vanquish Soul K9. Game 3, I went up against Dracotail. Lost dice, but we went 2-1. Dystopia for the win in time was pretty amazing. But in reality, he was in a losing game state. I'll talk about that later on. Just because when you resolve Fusion Destiny, you're able to, recur bodies from the graveyard with your Destiny heroes, go Plasma, steal something, punch for a game, whatever. You guys know the drill. And then my last round was against the first place person. So my only loss was the first place. And they were playing Yummy. I did lose dice again, so I did lose 3 of 4 dice, but still landed in top 4 out of like I think 25, 30-ish players around there. So it's quite actually a big locals, like a lot of decks, a lot of diversity, Malice, Blue Eyes, Dracotail, lots of Yummy, K9 Vanquish everywhere. Really good diversity, really fun format, guys, like I said. So pay very close attention to the list and what I'm about to discuss. So let's get right into it. The only loss, was again just Yummy, and honestly just dice roll, and I don't really think I like misplayed too badly. Like there's maybe one moment where I resolved Droplet a little bit incorrect. I could have gotten more value out of my Droplet by negating more onto the field and throwing some additional materials from hand. But overall, like I'll talk about what the MVPs and the cruxes of those decks within our hero engine, which is really ideal. So I've got my QCR Neos, 2 Stratos, 1 Shadow Mist. That is it for the lineup of elemental heroes. I'm in the market for the QCR Stratos, guys. Hit me up. I'm looking for one more. I do have one coming in the mail. But yeah, this deck's going to be like pretty blinged out at this point. You guys will see some of the cool rarities I'm running in this. I also have like the OG tin art print of this, the secret rare, but yeah, I'm not sure what I want to run. Maybe like play the other one just to kind of keep it fresh because there's a lot of QCRs in this build. But yeah, Stratos, guys, was MVP into Draco Tail. One thing you got to keep in mind is if you open one of these or you have Rhoda, what's really awesome, or if you go AHL, Stratos, because Stratos can't search himself, which is kind of busted. This is essentially how you actually use, how you interact with the Draco Tail's two set traps, like the flame and the horn. We don't really care too much about the horn that bounces an attack position monster because you can play around it quite easily. But we do care about resolving our power spells. So going like Ferris, dump Mally, set up Ferris increase on the back row. So Ferris front row, increase back row. Then normal summon this, declare effect to pop. They have to interact somehow. Then you just chain your increase and just blow up your entire back row and then some potentially. So again, built into that matchup. Engine built into that matchup, which is really, really nice. Vision. I got my 3 QCR Ferris. I got my max rarity, Battles of Legend Vion, and then Battles of Legend Increase. I only played the one just because I am running a very, very small, lean, but mean Evil Hero package. I'm in that mindset too, where like I've been playing this deck long enough, and maybe this wasn't going to be advice for most guys out there. Like I should probably be running the 2s because we do not have the new Masked Hero starters / extenders with Furnace and Duskrow yet in the format. Those cards are going to be absolutely phenomenal going into next format just because it's going to allow us to turbo out Darklaw really fast, and it's going to really allow us to play like a mid-range hero game. But also it's going to allow us to really control the game state with, a card that's ultimately a lot like a Rizard. Like a Rizard is banned, guys. Like Darklaw has been around for a very, very long time, and in my opinion is, even more powerful than a Rizard if it's sitting in its home, which is the hero deck. So I did go with 1 increase. I definitely opened it a few times, but I do not regret it. The games that I actually opened this, I still won. So, maybe it's a testament of like my capability in driving the deck, but 2 probably makes more sense. But I just, you're gonna see what my non-engine looks like. I didn't want to draw into too much of these bricks essentially. But yeah, no complaints there. I'm gonna stick to the 1. Destiny Heroes. I've got my tin promo for Plasma, and then I've got 3 Militias. I'm in the market for QCRs, guys. So hit me up if you've got them. Granted, I've got 2 dual terminals and a collector's rare. It's kind of ugly. And of course, I've got my 1 Denier. Nothing to really say here. I've always kept this card in the deck unless the matchup just really did not merit running the Plasma. So for example, against Yummy, Plasma always stayed. Against Canine Vanquish Soul, he actually also stayed. The reason being is right now the Vanquish Soul deck only runs 1 to 2 Burgers, Borgirs, and then they only run the 1 Valiant Caesar, which means their only way to actually play around Destiny Hero Plasma is going to be to hard open one of those, or to potentially, like, I don't know, search it out under skill drain and such, which is going to be, I think, incredibly hard. Like, I don't know, maybe they have like a small world lines. I've seen some lists play small world, believe it or not. But yeah, one of my end boards game 1 when I won dice, because I did get nibbed, was just DPE Plasma, and took the token. That was it. He just scooped on the spot, and I didn't really see any Vanquish Soul names, but he had used like the Rescue Ace engine to potentially draw, which I ashed. So I knew exactly what he was on because that's the only deck right now that's playing it. So he essentially telegraphed his entire deck and just didn't even have to play. He lost on the spot because of the DPE Plasma lines under Fusion Destiny. And then I've got my last 2 monsters. So I've got my Dead End Prison. I do have a QCR coming in the mail. Then I have a Euro QCR Ados Gold. The reason why I ran these plus an Evil Assault that you'll see later is because I knew this deck's been very much underground for many, many formats, probably in the past year. So I needed ways to not only like incur bodies onto the board and have efficiency into my link climb plays, but I also wanted cards that are going to be essentially an illusion against my opponents. Like I wanted not only more starters in this list of 45, we are playing 45, but I wanted ways to actually, you know, bait out hand traps. Like hands where I open like Fusion Destiny, Hero Lives plus this are pretty crazy because like which engine are you stopping? Like yes, this engine is leading into the Vision engine at the end of the day. It's still one and the same. But to the uneducated player, it's going to look like its own threats. Like when you go and activate Evil Assault and discard something, it's very, very ideal for your opponent to ash it because you're just going to go -2. But the reality is, because we're playing so many different starters and we've upped the numbers within the 45 list, it's easier to play that mind game with your opponent because they're not going to be educated into this deck as much as you are. So definitely use that to your advantage when playing any kind of rogue strategy for that matter. Cool. For spells, we got 3 QCR, a Hero Lives. Should probably like take my time to let you guys enjoy these. This got ashed like all day long just for me to resolve the second. Again, guys, we go back to the lack of education once formats kind of rotate and pivot. I've got my 3 Alti OTS pack. Fusion Destiny is really broken all day. I won't deny it though. I did actually cut down to 2 post sides just to make for more non-engine. Just because I figured like the math actually checks out where like if I go like 2 and 2, I was still seeing this stuff because you're drawing a 6 card and then some because of the mulch armies, which you guys will see in a bit. So play 3. You can get away with cutting 1 post side, but I think you should still play 3 somewhere. And in reality, like even if I saw multiple copies going second, it's fine. Like it's a really, really excellent card. And then, of course, the Evil Assault. Not much to say there. It's really like a 4th of Hero Lives, I would say. Some one-ofs. I've got my 5 power spells that are one-ofs. I've got the Miracle Fusion. We actually got a crazy rarity bump in the new Megatons that are coming out this week. I can't wait to pick up that QCR. For Miracle Fusion, QCR Mass Change, QCR Foolish Burial, QCR Hero Art Polymerization. You have to do this art because it's like fits right at home. And then the bonfire, the Rhoda, the reinforcement of the army also in QCR, which is beautiful. And yeah, that's it for engine, guys. Now for non-engine, I've got 3 Mulcharmies for Fua, 3 Perulia, 3 Ash, 3 Forbidden Droplet, and then 3 Infinite Impermanence. My whole game plan, guys, here is just to play as much of a simplified game that I could. So I knew I was going to be losing dice, and I knew whatever my opponent was going to land on in terms of a half board, if I was going to resolve any of 1 or 2 of these cards, the Mulch Armies, that I was going to be in a good position to break my opponent's board using maybe like the Forbidden Droplet and Engine, or like a Hand Trap plus Engine, or Imperm plus Engine, or Ash Imperm. Any one of those combinations was really, really good for me that day. We're also siding in more breakers as well. Like this is it when it comes to hand traps. There's literally no more hand traps beyond just these 12. I don't count obviously Forbidden Droplet as a hand trap, but it is a form of non-engine that actually acts as a hand trap going first sometimes, because I did keep this into Vanquish Soul because I did not want to have Holly Sue resolve on me and really messing up my combo lines when I'm attempting to link climb in terms of like stealing or popping my stuff. Also is a good counter to the K9 engine, but I actually truly believe we don't even need to worry about the K9 engine because the minute the K9 engine is active by your opponent is when you activate Ferris, right? That's really early on in the combo, and that combo line, that piece in the loop of the vision line, it's actually fast. And what do I mean by fast is all the effects are on summon. They're not ignition. They're all on summon, and they're not quick effects, sure, but like they're all on summon. They're triggers. And then when you get to the point where like you're actually placing your Vision Hero increase to the back row, since it's a continuous trap, and a lot of the vets know this, you can actually control the tempo of your vision line using this. So therefore, if they go like Azuna, dump Lupus, Lupus, Revive, Lupus, Xyz into Nash Knight, Ripper, whatever it is, it really doesn't usually matter because Ripper, Graveyard Negate, okay, might interact with like Mali, but we play 3 copies, so it's like if they like that's like in my eyes like ashing a Mali is so suboptimal by your opponent that you want them to actually do that. Or if they go, I don't know, Nash Knight, suck up something, chain increase, buy. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the engine actually, although it's kind of dated and old, already has a solve for the canine lines that are turn 0. So yeah, that's it. And then for the actual Ash is just generically good. I also wanted to use it defensively to stop Molcharmy. Is the only thing I was scared about going into this event was Molcharmy Fuvalos. But the reality is a lot of people are actually cutting or siding Perulias just for Molcharmy Fuvalos, especially if it's like canine. I've been finding that like they're just playing one set of Molcharmies, which means like, you know what, like it's like back in the day, like they either had Shifter or they didn't. You know, like I know we're not scared about Shifter, but back then like that was like the deadly crux of the deck was Shifter, or even like Droll. But Droll is not in this format. Nib's really, in my opinion, not in this format either. Like some decks are playing it, some are not. I play around Nibiru anyways. I'm still going the standard line of Wake Up, DPE, Driver, and then Set Trap, and then End Phase go into the Law line, which plays around Nibiru quite easily, and then some, because you can actually extend in some cases into Plasma DPE Law with Trap Set, which is insane. This format, I would say, like that's literally unbeatable, I would say, this format. But yeah, like I wanted to just draw as much as possible and see as much engine as possible because our engine breaks boards this format with Fusion Destiny, Stratos to pop back row, increase, dodge some stuff, resolve Stratos to pop. A lot of really cool interactions that can be done, especially like if you resolve the Molcharmy, see an Imperm, see a Droplet. Like this is also not once per turn. This was kind of MVP as well. Not once per turn. You can also preemptively draw or standby phase stop like a Snatchy on board, stop a Nash Knight, a Ripper. You can stop what it called, the Dice Smashers, whatever it may be, right? Like really, really good stuff. Like Droplet is a hero card in my opinion, and then Imperm is like baby Droplet, I would say. There's also one game where like I went Droplet, Imperm, chain Droplet, which is quite crazy on its own. But yeah, like I kept it very, very simplified. There's a very, very clear objective that this deck is trying to do when it goes second, which is draw as much as possible, put my opponent on a half board, break their board using Engine and any of these 9 cards as well, like the Ash Blossom Droplet as well as the Infinite Impermanence. Cool. And then we do have the favorite content. I'm in the market for the Secret Rare. Let me know, guys. Extra deck, kind of standard, kind of not. I went just with 2 Dark Claws. I've got my QC Dark Claw, and then I've got my OTS Pack 1 Dark Claw. This is max rarity. This is just a nice rarity. MVP of the deck, this format, 110%. Draco Tail can't play through it. The Canine Engine is checked under it. Yummy can't play through it. They have to go out their way to try to out this. It's very hard, guys. I play 2 just because I do sometimes like to go for the double law line because we are siding in 2 additional mass changes, so that way we're actually able to loop mass change and be able to tag one out for the other using mass change in case this is, I don't know, impermed or they try to out it somehow. We were able to do so. Elemental Hero Bag, just because why not? I've got the QCR Wake Up. Not max rarity, but it's nice. Neo Swingman, I'm in the market for Secret. The Wingman, Infernal Rage. Sunrise, in the market for the Secret. Let me know, guys. I've got Starlight Rare. DPE for the Destinies lines. And I've got my Dystopia. Still play your time card, guys, because when you play Rogue, you're going to get 110 questions of what your deck does, so you may as well just punish them for insolence and not knowing what Heroes does. And then I did play the Trinity this format. I figured if I was gonna drop like a full Yummy board, I didn't want to play into like a Nibiru or some like random garbage. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go like a bunch of Vision Heroes, fuse them off, let this stick, attack, 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 just game. 15k right there because it attacks 3 times and it's 5k. And then last but not least, we got 2 QCR Cross Crusader. This is max rarity. Finally, the boy got his time to shine, literally. Got my driver. Infernal Devicer to search the brick, Neos. I'm in the market for secret rare. And then I got the Dread Decimator for time as well as piercing damage if need be. Nothing to really say there. 2 Wonder Drivers does come up, guys, because there is a line where if you just open Stratos, one of the benefits of running the evil hero lean but mean engine that I just showcased, like literally 1, 1, and 1, because we don't want to draw too much of these. Like ideally in a hand, you should see one of these cards under, you know, the resolution of mulch armies. But the line here is like if you go normal Stratos now actually is full combo or like full combo minus law, because you can go normal Stratos, add the gold for Evil Assault for Dead End Prison, dump Shadow Mist, so it does turn off your ability to search out Mass Change in the end phase unless you've opened another one. So you go dump that, and then your Mist searches out Ferris, and then you link off the Stratos and the Dead End Prison into Infernal Devicer, this guy right here, because he just needs heroes. And then this Fiend here, he's going to be actually add your Neos, and then just go full combo with Ferris dumping Neos. So yeah, that's like it did come up once, and it was really, really impactful that I had like just Stratos and Fusion Destiny. So that's why I really like actually playing this, because it does come up a lot where like you just literally open up Stratos and there's just a bunch of non-engine, and you know, you don't necessarily always want to lead with Fusion Destiny because it loses to 1 hand trap, like an Ash or something. But yeah, one small synergy to note about this is you can go potentially, you know, full DPE, driver, set favorite contact minus the Dark Law with just Stratos now because of that. So what does sometimes happen though is you need the second driver because you need like a light on board to be able to fuse into Sunrise or Infernal Rage. So that did come up, but luckily like I had another Evil Assault that resolved, but I had Adacid Gold in hand, which was a light, so I was able to kind of work around it. But in theory, 2 drivers actually does come up if you're running a small evil hero package. Yeah, just food for thought. Cool, we're at 20 minutes, almost 25, almost done here, folks. I did side in 2 more Mass Change. I'm in the market for 2 more QCs, and the Dark Angel, that was the only engine that was sided. I only sided these in going first. These always went in going first because it allows me to dodge. And into the Yummy deck, like it's like a 40 card list, and they have 20 hand traps. I kid you not, like I got hand trapped like 4 times, but still was able to go AHL, Special Mist, no effect, Mass Change, make law, Mist gets purged, engrave. I had Foolish Burial, I set Mally, then just passed back. I had like a set Droplet and Ash in hand, I passed back. He couldn't out it. Like he went like 3 turns trying to out it, and then eventually I opened Evil Assault and just pitched like a brick, like Neos. And he's just like, yeah, I scooped because I didn't even need to play into Nibiru at that point, because I can just tell like he was not, like he was going to have to open up a starter while getting hand trapped, while getting hit by Mana Engine, under Shifter, but also be able to out the Dark Claw, to have an answer for it to not essentially floodgate his graveyard, because that deck needs the grave. All those new decks require the graveyard. Even Vanquish Soul, like the K9 engine needs the graveyard to be able to get those bodies on field. Yeah, and the Dark Angel, I really wanted something for Draco Tail, because I feel like that deck, if they start fusing, and if Arthurion hits the field, even though they're banishing some of their fusion material, they could potentially still out Dark Law. So I wanted something to actually stop their spells. And I found that like that deck actually also plays like upwards of 20 hand traps as well. So I wanted, you know, in the case that I was gonna get like hand trap, massacred, and nib, this is something to do. In case, you know, I'm getting hand trapped to death and I still have the ability, like in terms of gas, to be able to give this to my opponent. This is max rarity. This Deso printing. But yeah, that's it for the side when it comes to engine. And we've got, what else we got here for you? We got some breakers. I did play evenly matched. All the decks do not have an answer to this. Even if I was going to get Paradise Smasher and K9 Vanquish Soul, okay, I'll just go my turn to play, evenly matched. What are you left with at this point, right? Like, you're going to banish a lot of really crazy one-ofs off the field and stuff. It's kind of nuts. Yeah. And then I did play Call By, just going first. Talents. I did side this in first and second depending on matchup. Thrust goes in always post side, full thrust package. And then my one thrust target for going first was just the Black Gold Laughs. I know the format because I know what cards do. I read them. I don't play test again, like I said, because of my baby, but Black Goat is just goated. No pun intended. There is a moment where like he went 5 mana to fuse. I chained Black Goat, call Arthurion. It just stopped the entire recursion of the Dracotail player altogether. So it was quite nuts. The last but not least, the Spice. I did play Exchange. These do conflict with Ash Blossom, but I figured I was going to see either or. The theory is you set your power spells like Fusion Destiny, Evil Assault, AHL. You might have like Ferris in hand or like Ferris Stratos, like some redundancy when it comes to your combos. So you set your power spells, you set your talents, you set your thrust, you set your everything. You take a look at your opponent's hand and you play around what they have and you give them the brick. So it's actually quite good, especially now when like I'm seeing a lot less Droll, a lot less Nibiru, a lot less Mulcharmies in general. You're going to see Fuvalos is still in a lot of people's mains. There's less Mulcharmies, I find, because people are like, for example, Vanquish Soul, they can't play too much Mulcharmies because they need attributes. So they're just playing Fuvalos. So that actually benefits us. And especially against that matchup, you know, I might be able to like play around certain hand traps. So I can actually use the exchange to rip out one of their attributes in their hand. Maybe like they have like too much fire and like one dark, I'll take the dark. Right? You're being able to cut them off and having the diversity of, you know, the attributes that they require to be able to summon things. There was one game where I'm like, you know what, let's play Russian roulette. I had Ash Ferris in hand. I went exchange. They changed Fua because I had a feeling it was going to be a Fua game for some reason. It's post side. I Ashed and just gave him a Ferris, and I had like a AHL set anyways. So it was kind of crazy because it literally meant that I was forcing my opponent to take the brick. It was definitely a risk. Sometimes you do want to play this throughout the combo. Like in theory, if you go AHL, they go Fua, you Ash, you add the Ferris, set a bunch of other starters, then give them the Ferris or give them another brick or another starter that's redundant. That works as well. But yeah, you know, proceed with caution. You have to be a good driver, I think, to get a sense of what is going to work and what you might lose to, so that way you can avoid that risk altogether. So really, really fun card, I think, for decks that need to combo, especially when you have a lot of power spells like Heroes does. Yeah, so that's it for me, guys. Not much to say there. Really, really happy with the list. MVPs are probably... What are the MVPs? Probably Stratos. There's the ability to pop back row was kind of crazy throughout the whole event against Dracotail. And then I would say, of course, the OG himself. The Dark Law was also quite impactful. Neo Swingman had his time to shine against Yummy, which is kind of crazy. They couldn't out it, blow up their field after like resolving field spells and like reviving a bunch of stuff. And then ZPE always really, really great card into just any deck overall. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you like the list. Definitely give it a try. Once we get the new Mass Hero support, the deck's going to get even better. It will see play, absolutely, especially if things kind of continue to roll out and play out as they are this format, like, you know, a good mix of like hand traps, a good mix of breakers. Our deck can still counter turn 0 plays, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like the Vision Engine is resilient to some of those turn 0 plays. We can play, you know, some good breakers in our deck that are extenders, such as Droplet. There's no Droll, there's no Nib, there's no Shifter. We don't lose to like Imperm, Veiler, Ash, if you know what you're doing. It's a really fun format, guys, and I do really think actually our deck has some pretty interesting interactions through the main decks of Yummy, Draco Tail, K9, Vanquish. That's it for me, guys. Really, really fun locals. I had a great time with this list. Kept it very simple, to the point. Hopefully the theory checks out in you guys' minds. I'll talk to you on the next one, guys. Skull Dawn, signing out, baby. Cheers.